Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. This is going to be today's topic. It is going to be for the 2nd of August. Let's go ahead and see where this one is going to take us. What is the message for the 2nd of August? By the way, the one that I released for the 31st was like kind of like a big overview of the entire month and kind of the vibe of the energy that's going on. So we've got the 8 of Cups and we've got the 8 of Pentacles. Strong eights here, strong numbers of like culmination. We see the same divine feminine on both of these, complete with the little headdress. This kind of reminds me of like I'm sorry, I don't know what they're called, but in the Hawaiian culture, I've seen the hula dancers wear those really beautiful. It's not lei. The lei is what goes around the neck. Please, if somebody knows the name of what the one is around the hair. And I took a hula dance class before, but I never got to the point of being good enough to be involved in a performance. It's very difficult. I loved it though. But I will say this. Maybe we have a character who has done hula dancing, or perhaps they're from Hawaii. And that's not the only culture that wears, the garlands of something around the crown of the head. But that's just what comes to my mind first. But we have a character who's really thinking long and hard, maybe about moving from one location to the next, leaving, changing jobs, changing locations. Maybe they're thinking about, moving from an island to the mainland or vice versa. Maybe they're thinking about going somewhere. Do they have enough money? I think somebody's sitting down looking at their finances. Maybe they need a trip. Maybe they want to go to Hawaii. We have got the 5 of Wands upright. 5 of Wands upright is definitely analyzing things. I feel like a character's been working very hard and they've been planning on going somewhere, but they just don't know, can I make it happen? I think they have a spark of an idea of how to make it happen. Ooh, Knight of Wands. It may have to be a quicker trip than what they planned, but this feels like they could even be saying, maybe I should just go by myself instead of, planning on, going somewhere, stopping, hanging out with friends along the way, going out, spending more money. Maybe I'll just do a more streamlined thing. It almost feels like they're going to suddenly impulsively do something that they've been planning for a long time. They think they can almost make it work, but they have to change the circumstances just a little. And I think they just suddenly just go for it. I don't know if it feels like a larger plan that they've been like pouring, thought processes and planning into. It feels like they just suddenly are just going to go do it. Like maybe somebody was saying, I'm going to take like maybe a week off and go on this big trip. And instead they're like, you know what, I'm just going to go this weekend and just make it a 2-day zip there and zip back. And maybe it's going to be amazing. We have a 6 of Pentacles. Their motive for doing this, whatever this little journey is, whatever this change is, I'm just going to be very specific because that's what I get off of this right now. We have a character who initially was planning something more extravagant, maybe planning on taking somebody with them. Maybe it was like, oh, I'll bring, my family member with me on a trip. And instead they're going to streamline it. They're just going to impulsively go by themselves. And it's going to be possibly the best thing that they ever did, because something special is going to happen to them when they do this thing just for themselves. There's somebody else that they're supposed to meet. Let's say, look, sometimes when we take a vacation with a family member, it can kind of cramp your style. If you meet somebody and it's like, wow, this stranger is somebody I'd like to have a romantic date with, but I'm here with my family. Hard to do when, I took Nana with me on this trip. I don't want to leave Nana while I go out on some hot date with some stranger and, kind of got to check in with Nana after the trip and all that. Got to be home or they'll worry about me if I'm out past 11. There are things like that could kind of like cramp somebody's style. I don't think our character is thinking about those things. I think they're thinking only about finances. Can I afford to do things the way I thought I was going to? I don't know, but I still really need to do this. So I think I'm going to be the one who does this. This could be a feminine who decides to just take a little sudden trip just for themselves. Somebody could have quit smoking, by the way, also. I see, even though it's a book of matches, it looks more like a thing of cigarettes. And I feel like That's a side note, but I don't feel like they're smoking as I start coughing. I have asthma, so I think even the word smoke makes me cough sometimes. We've got the Magician in the reverse. You know what I think is deep down, our character has known all along that this is the way they were going to do this trip. This is what they needed to do just for themselves. I feel like this is a story where a character comes to the decision. I don't think they're going anywhere on the second. I think that they're sitting down, looking at their finances and considering everything and considering timelines on stuff. And it could even be maybe it's the sixth that they'll wind up taking a trip. But they do it impromptu. But I think deep down they've known all along this is the way it needed to go. Of course I was going to take this trip alone. I was lying to myself, pretending I was planning this in the future, and it was going to work out for me to go with another person. I always needed to do this alone. And it may be because this character is supposed to meet somebody so they can have a passionate fling or a passionate romance. It does feel like this character needs to just do something for themselves. Maybe it's for the sake of passion. Maybe this is like a single mom or dad who, they could have brought their kids with them, but in fact, maybe they desperately need a break. Maybe they need adult time. Maybe they need to be able to not put the kiddos to bed and be able to flirt with somebody and be able to have, a romance. And maybe deep down, they have known from the beginning, I need this for me. We have that Five of Pentacles sideways. There's maybe a little bit of guilt that I'm not taking somebody else with me, but I think that this character needs the freedom. I think that whoever it is we're talking about, I feel like they have a lot of duties. I feel like they work really hard for a lot of other people, and maybe they don't get a whole lot of thanks back. Like not like parents expect to get a whole bunch of thank yous from their children, right? Because children, assume like, well, of course you're taking care of me. That's what you've always done. That's the universe I know, is that mommy, daddy takes care of me. And they don't think about saying, thank you for taking such nice care of me, mommy and daddy. This character could be like a parent, and they give an awful lot and they sacrifice an awful lot, but they could also sacrifice an awful lot for a lot of other people. And they haven't really gotten much in return in a long time. They know that they're entitled to do something for themselves. And that's what this little sudden break for freedom is. Maybe this character simply takes a day off work and they don't plan a fun afternoon with friends or other people, or they don't take a weekend off so then they can host some dinner party and invite people over. Maybe they just get out of Dodge and they go and they allow themselves to be footloose and fancy free. This is something our lead character needs to give to themselves. The right to buy themselves flowers, like Miley Cyrus says, to buy themselves a nice dinner, to go out, to flirt with somebody new, to do what they want. Look at this. We got a 9 of Cups. Somebody could be going out deep sea fishing and it's something they just want to do. Maybe they're going to fall in love with the person who owns the boat. This feels like I needed to take a little trip for romance. I'm not saying this person needs to like get out of town so then they can find some, one hit wonder, swift little love affair that's not going to go anywhere, but they just needed some, wild night. I don't think it's that. I think, although that may actually come to pass for this character, it's more that they needed to do something that would just make them happy, so that their own happiness, the thing that they want, maybe somebody's going to take a trip to the ocean. They need to go see the sea. They love the ocean. That is their big passion, but it does feel like they need a chance to just think about themselves and their own needs and romance, if that's going to pop up. And they couldn't have done that if they were surrounded by other people, surrounded by family. This is a character who has to go solo. We got an Empress here. This has been it could be a strong mother figure, strong feminine, a business owner. It doesn't have to be a feminine. This could be masculine just as well, but it's somebody who needed to take care of their own needs. This is an act of generosity for oneself. And an Empress maybe knows when they need to take care of their own needs, their own happiness, free up some time and a schedule just for oneself, which is funny because the video for the 1st of August had everything to do with like a really full social calendar, but it was very joyful. Sorry, guys. We have the Hanged Man upright, and we have the Two of Swords. There's been a lot of sacrifice, and I kind of think that this is a turning point for our character. They've been realizing for a while that they needed to carve a chunk out for themselves. Look, for an empress is an ultimate like nurturer. This is a person who cares very much about the people in their life, cares very much about their business, all of that. And they're an awesome like lead in their life. But martyring oneself and saying, well, I can never take even a day off because I have too much work to do for everybody else. I am the glue that holds the universe together. So if I'm not here, everything will fall apart. This says our character needs to cut space into their life, cut a little, chunk of fabric out in their life that is their own, that they don't have to answer to everybody else's needs. They don't have to consistently be running around and doing for others. This needs to be a new way of life. This isn't just one little weekend escape that's just for them and they finally have a chance to meet like a romantic partner, although this could be the time that they do. And this could be a life altering moment. It's like, thank God I took that weekend off. They may reflect years later and say, if I had not decided to just suddenly take that drive to, like I said, the ocean by myself, instead of take my whole family with me. If I hadn't just done a quick, 2-night stay someplace that was just for me, I would never have met this person who turns out to be the love of my life. I would have, never done something that I needed to do and allowed myself to meet the right person. And that was a game changer. And from here on out, I realized I needed to make these changes for me because I was getting close to burnout. This is such a specific message about a character who really has needed to make sure that their life is theirs to a certain extent. Queen of Cups, this person's always going to be a giver, and it does not mean that they will not still be there for others. It does not mean that they won't show a ton of love and support to all the same people in their life that they always have. They'll still be a great parent. They'll still be a great boss. They'll still be an awesome friend and sibling and, a grandchild and, to their family members, whatever their roles are, they'll still be wonderful. But they also are entitled to have a love life of their own, to have a partner that they choose to give their heart to have a private life of their own. All those things our character is entitled to. And I think it's been a long time since our character has permitted themselves to have that. They are bringing about a lot more balance into their life with the Temperance card, and that Ten of Swords is here depicting that change. This character has needed a change for a very, very, very long time. I feel like this is an end to a painful time of their life where they were just very alone, and it's kind of like they were living for other people. They were living to make sure other people had everything that they needed, but at their own level of life, I don't think they were very satisfied. I think this is a character who has needed someone to love. And that's the song that I'm hearing right now. Is that Queen? Somebody, someone to love. That our character has to make time and space for that. And deep down, they've known it for a while. These two cards say that. It's time that I have a partner of my own. I've been single for a long time, raised my babies alone. My babies are good. I have a right to have a love life. I've been there for family. I've dedicated myself to everybody else's success and survival and all of that. But damn, it's been a long time for me, but I'm ready to go ahead and have love in my life. Good for this character. Let me just ask about that romantic partner, because I do feel like there is a romance that just kind of comes up out of nowhere here. They could be a Scorpio. We have the Death card here. I'm not saying that this character has to, give birth to another child, but that is possible in this union. But more than anything, it's about there's a fresh beginning, and whomever this partner is, that I think is going to be a great match for our Empress character. I feel like they are only just now ready to meet our character as well. They too could have had children that they raised. I mean, these could be two single parents that are finally meeting each other, and they're like, yeah, I haven't dated anybody in forever either. I was busy building a happy life for my kiddos. Look at this. They're ready for change. Also, we see the butterfly, but we have the 10 of Cups. They are ready. This is a card of change and transformation. This is a card of change and transformation. I feel like it is the perfect time for a character to be meeting what could turn out to be the love of their life, who could be a water sign for sure. But we have we have this strong desire in both characters for having, love and relationship and happiness. But the timing had to be right for both of them, is what I would say. Oh, I liked that one. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Lots of love. Bye.